Fredrick Harper was not your average retiree. At 78, he enjoyed watching birds, solving crossword puzzles, and concocting herbal teas with his garden's bounty. One day, as he brewed a particularly potent lavender chamomile mix, everything changed. The world around him swirled, and he found himself standing beside Abraham Lincoln at the Gettysburg Address. He blinked in bewilderment for a moment before fainting and waking up back in his kitchen. After a few more impromptu historical trips, like chit-chatting with Cleopatra and observing Galileo draw the moon, Fredrick convinced himself he wasn't losing it. He had somehow gained an extraordinary ability to visit and interact with significant historical events. No sooner did the realization settle than his TV blared breaking news about a potential economic collapse. "Great Scott!" Fredrick exclaimed, channeling his inner Doc Brown. "I've seen something like this before." But who would believe the ramblings of an old man who claimed to have tea time with Tesla? Convincing modern society was going to be harder than convincing a Roman senator not to stab Caesar. Fredrick decided to use his newfound power discreetly to gather crucial information. He popped into the Great Depression for insights into economic pitfalls, sat through the Cuban Missile Crisis to learn about diplomatic tension management, and visited the plague-ridden streets of medieval Europe to study quarantine and crisis response. Armed with knowledge from the past, he mustered the courage to approach the town council concerning their short-sighted budget cuts and risky investments. To avoid sounding like a delusional time traveler, he dressed his warnings in a blanket of wisdom and experience. "My dear counselors, remember the lessons from the past? Banks failed because hubris overshadowed caution," he said dramatically. Predictably, he was met with skepticism and a fair dose of patronizing glances. "Mr. Harper, thank you for your insights, but we have modern strategies," one council member droned on. Undeterred, Fredrick started a blog under a pseudonym, the Time-Wise Sage, blending historical facts with gentle advice. His readers, fascinated by his detailed accounts, began requesting more articles and shared his insights widely. Slowly but surely, policies started reflecting his virtual whispers. When another crisis loomed, this time an environmental one, Fredrick beelined to the 1960s, consulting Rachel Carson as she wrote Silent Spring. Upon returning, he penned an article titled Lessons in the Wind, pushing for eco-friendly initiatives while referencing historical environmental collapses. Soon, the whispers of the time-wise sage turned into roars demanding change. Fredrick watched as councils heeded advice and started implementing policies that mirrored those from historical successes. Though he'd adored history all his life, he never imagined he'd one day use it to shape the future. Content in his rocking chair, a warming cup of herbal tea in hand, Fredrick smiled. He might have been just one old man, but with echoes of the past, he'd created ripples strong enough to change the course of modern history.